Good evening, it's the Romany Rye. I want to tell you a little story tonight. Something that happened to me, I'd say, 15 years ago, 10, 15, no, not 10, 12, 15 years ago. I was having a lot of trouble at the time with planners. And I drove up to see Maggie Smith. Now, we was in a village hall, and before we went, it's true what I'm telling you now, we had that much trouble beforehand where the mushes was ganging up on us. So I said to my boy, Brian, I said, put a snooker ball in a sock. I said, and I'm going to put 2 big bolts in a sock. Put it in the putchie. Now we gets down to this village hall. Now it wasn't even a proper parish council. Maggie Smith was with us. When we got there, this is God straight me dead, I swear on the Holy Bible, it was like a lynch mob. They was like a lynch mob, ready to hang us up on a tree outside this hole. So this mush got up. He was an ex prison guard. He got up. We are guardians of the countryside, he said. We are guardians over all this land. Another one got up. He said, yeah, and we protect what's happening here. We don't want no gypsies here. And this was getting nasty now. So Maggie got up and said a bit. Now, they were shouting and hollering. I couldn't take any more. I got up. I said, right, let's get this straight. What are you guardians over? I said. This mush was looking down at a piece of paper, writing stuff down. I said, yeah, I'm talking to you, mate. What are you a guardian over? I said. He said, the land and the countryside. I said, what do you own then? He said, I got a house in the village and I got a front garden and a big back garden. I said, oh yeah. I said, and what do I own? He said, somehow you bought the land up the road with the big barn on it. I said, yeah, 22 acres. And you're telling me that you're guardian over my land, are you? Yes, he said. I said, don't be so stupid. How are you guardian over my land? You idiot. I said, who do you think owns that land, mate? Right. They're getting more and narker. And there's mayhem breaking out. So I said to myself, I got to do something about this. So I stands up. I said, right. Do you want to know how you're treating me, I said, and my family? I said, if this was 80, 90 years ago, you see that big oak tree, don't you? I said, you want to hang us from that tree? That's how bad you're treating me, I said. But you're not guardians over what I own. You can be guardians over what you own yourself. You're not guardians over what I own. And I'll do what I want. And I'll take the consequences of what I do. So shut him up when I told him about the hanging on the tree. I said, and before we leave here, if there's a, Maggie Smith will verify it. I said, if there's any man in this room got something to say to me that's not particularly nice, I'll be walking out that door in a minute. Follow me out. Nobody said a word. Dead quiet. Got up. Walked out. Come home. Said to Maggie, thank you very much for coming down and blah, blah, blah. A few days later, Maggie rings me up with a request from the Avon and Somerset Chief of Police. Very high up Gaffer. She said, would you be prepared, she said, to talk to this Gaffer? She said, I knows him well. It might help your cause. I said, yeah, I'll talk to him, Maggie. But in the meantime, I was running the quarry down at Painting and doing a bit for a mate of mine called Richard Haddock. So every year, the travellers pull in down at Painting or just on the outskirts of Brixham. This year was no different. As it happened, they pulled into a farmer's field where he normally has a boot sale every week. So now he's going berserk, this farmer. I don't know how they got my number. The council rang me up. Mr. Ware, can you go over to on the road to Brixham there and try and defuse the situation for us? Over I goes. Now, this was all on television. I gets over there. There's a farmer there. He got the tractor dung spreader loaded up with slurry. I goes in, gathers everywhere. I said, what's the trouble? Trouble, he said. I'm going to spread him with the dung. I said, no, you ain't doing that, mate. He said, who are you? I said, never mind who I am. I said, I've been contacted by the council to come here and defuse this situation. I said, notwithstanding the fact there's young babies over there and there's young children over there running around, 4 and 5 year old. I said, you want to spray them with shit? I said, you're some man, you are. Yeah, he's getting at the tractor now, coming over to confront me. This was on the BBC News. I said, I don't care. I said, I've lived in the woods too long to be afraid of the owls. I said, all I see in you, I said, you're like an owl. You fly about by night. Don't spread any children, I said, with that dung. Now it goes over now. There was Irish travellers there. I said a few words to them in Romanus, and they obviously knew I was a traveller. So there was one there. I didn't catch her name. There's one there who was like, I suppose he was a top man. I said, look, you're not going to be able to bide here. I said, they're going to pull you out. I said, and I don't want that farmer to skid your gear in dung, in slurry. They was going there. They had baseball bats and all sorts there. Gaffers there. I said, so I think the best thing you can do is tell him you'll jail by Friday, Saturday morning at the latest, and he can have his field back for the boot sale on Sunday. He said, do you think you'll be able to swing it? I said, I can no more and try. And we were chatting, blah, blah, blah. I goes back now to the gaver. So I spoke to him. The latest they'll be going from here is Saturday morning. The boot sale's not till Sunday. I said, but if you go and spray them now with that dung slurry, I said, by the way, I said, which you shouldn't let this farmer do. He said, so the gaver said to me, no, we're not letting him do that. He said, but it's very, very difficult. I said, you let him stay there, leave him alone. By Saturday, he'll be gone. I said, that's what they've promised me. So I diffused that situation. So in the meantime, this gaver from Avon and Somerset brings me. Somehow, knowledge of what went on filtered back through. So, said all the niceties and that. He said, would you mind if I come down? He said, with a team of officers and interviewed you for a video. I said, no, I don't mind that. He said, but we got to look for somebody who's going to tell the truth. And we want to know somebody who's going to give a fair description of the problems. I said, I'll only answer what you ask me fairly and truthfully, mate. I said, to tell you the truth, we've had this all our life. So, down he comes. I got the DVD here now. One of these days, I'll put it up. Now, this DVD was made to be sent to all the gaver stations throughout this country. Diversity project. For them to try and understand what the problems were. So they went through all the questions about how we're so hostile to the police. I said, look, you've got to realise, years ago, when gavers come around to move people off, they didn't give a shit. They just come in, and bailiffs, and hoisted you out, towed you out in some cases. I said, and another thing, right from an early age, growing up, our type of people, as soon as they see a gaver behind, I said, we can be completely legal, this, that, and the other, but you can bet your life, I said, we gets pulled in. I said, and then as soon as they knows that you're a traveller or a gypsy, they wants to go right for everything. I said, so there are some of the things that you've got to break down. I said, and there's no good going in heavy-handed because you seemingly have the law on your side. I said, because to be honest with you, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't give two F's for your law. I said, I got no regard for you whatsoever. Or councils, or anybody. Because if people like me waited to have approval for things, we'd never have nothing. I said, and that's a fact. So he was intrigued by that. So they made the DVD. I got the DVD here and I got the thank you letter. And ever since then, around this area, when there have been major troubles, they've always contacted me to try and help defuse the situations. Many times I've done it. And it's not because I got any regard for the gavers at all. I just don't want my own people to get in trouble, like. But I've had that trouble. For 24 years I've had that trouble. And back further. Because I've got stories to tell you in a minute about the scrapyard days later on, where the gavers was on me all the time. All the time. So that's just a little interesting tale of how I made the DVD to be circulated to all the Gabber stations in the country, and for them to try to understand. But take it from me, they're all the same. They're all the same. When the chips are right down, and there's a Goji and there's a Traveller, I've never seen a fair and square attitude from the Gabbers. Never seen it. When I did my own planning here, I was called a terrorist. I was terrorising the village, they said. And there was a couple of the locals that spoke up for me. But I think there was 15 of them down the end of the lane with placards up in the air, stop the gypsy site. That's what we've been doing. But I just thought I'd mention that to you tonight because I got a lot more stories to be told yet. And it's just one of the things that come to mind, you see. And when it comes in my mind, I need to talk about it. So it's bye-bye now for the Romany Rye, and I'll catch you tomorrow.